Welcome to the Oracle. Okay. Right. You understand what's going on?
Listening.
Ah, you're gorgeous. You're listening. Nobody else is. What's going on? Look at the Word. Look at the book. Look at the laws, judgments and statutes. I keep saying it over and over again. What does the Creator say about money? What does he say about work? What does he say about family? If you want to look at the reverse of what God says, look at our way we're living today and what governments are doing, what the money system is, how we live, how we're under surveillance. It's got nothing to do with the Creator. It's anti-Creator. And how do we know that? Because when you look at his laws, he says if you don't follow my laws on how to live, L-I-V-E, capital L, like your pussycat and your dog, they don't change the rules. They live by God's rules. They don't change it. They live by it. They live by the code. And if we're going to change God's laws, then we are in for it. We're going to wind up with AI. We're going to wind up with false money systems. We're going to wind up with the Pharisees ruling over us and crucifying us. If you look at the story, and what does JC say? He says, I am the sacrifice. I am the sheep. I am an example of what is happening in this world, that we are being run by Antichrist, anti-God. So if we're going to talk about the COVID-19, anything you want to talk about that's negative, you'll find that word negative comes from only the word of the Creator, because you can't find what is negative and what is positive without the Creator. The Creator is a battery, and he welcomes you into that battery. If you're positive, he'll let you know. If you're negative, he'll let you know. And how do you know that? Because he tells you in his word. Live the life. You grow your own food. You have your own land. God has given you that land. You have your own drinking water. You trust no one with the food. You trust no one with the water. He says that. You trust only yourself. And he says the moment you let that guard down, you've lost anyway. If you let any of his laws down, you're losing. So we've lost a long time ago. And don't get upset about the worst coming, because it's only going to get worse because we're not following the laws. And if someone comes along and says, the way it should run is this and that, and you look it up in God's word, that will change. It will be a positive. But if everyone's going around making up their own law on COVID, money system, it's not going to change. Never change, never will.
I agree. Yeah, what's going to change? What are you talking about? You were talking about the wolf.
Oh, yes. Well, the laws and judgment statutes can be easily identified like this. You've got a wolf pack, or you've got a dingo pack. Let's keep it Aussie. The dingo pack selects a leader. That leader has already got in his DNA, the way he's born, the way it is, a pup from a grown dog, as the leader of the pack. They accept that and they let that particular rule of law run through the dingo pack, right? And where did the dingo that's running the pack originally get its health, wealth and power? From the Creator. So all it does is it looks after the pack look after the leader, and it lives by the code of the Creator. It doesn't go out and change the Creator's laws by saying, let's go and turn into a leopard for a day, or let's go and try and swim across to Rottnest. They're not meant to swim in water, they're meant to be on the land, they're meant to hunt in pack, and they're not meant to be on their own. Same as us. We are to live in a pack. We have a ruler who's designated by the Creator, and you only know he's the ruler, and you select that ruler because he knows the laws, he knows the judgments, and he knows the statutes. Once you've got that in your mind, you are actually representing the ruler, paying his respect, because you know the ruler is acting on the Creator's behalf. And how do you know that? Laws, judgments, statutes. If he repeats it and he knows it and he's applying it, then you know you have the perfect society. Welcome to the kingdom. Okay, how do you know any government, our government, whatever government is talking crap with a capital C-R-A-P, is when they get up and if they repeat something that you've never heard of and they're making it law, you can double check with the Creator by looking it up in the Bible. I know that sounds like a hard word to use or something old-fashioned, but you've got to look up his laws, judgments, statutes. When they're not repeating God's laws, judgments, statutes, any government is anti-God. The moment the government stands up and talks about laws, judgments, statutes, they're going to allow freedom, they're going to allow people to run their own properties, they're allowed to have chickens, they're allowed to have their own water supply, they're not going to supply the water supply anymore, they have their own power, it's not going to be on a grid system, it's not going to be on a time thing where you have to pay for it, it's all free. That's the Creator. The Creator is saying, this is how we're supposed to live. The moment you're living differently, you know you have the enemy at your doorstep and you're supporting the enemy by giving in to it. COVID-19 does not have to exist if you live under the code of the Creator. The code of the COVID-19 is, it's a pandemic or whatever they like to call it. It's anti-God, it's a disease, and God has the answer. And what you do is go to the people that understand God's word, who know health, who have read the Bible and know the way to read into what the Creator's saying about the correct herbs and food to eat to stay above the germs, the bacteria and the worms that exist that God created, who knows they're there, and he's protecting us from his creation 24/7. Don't do that and you will survive the pandemic. So don't listen to having anything but what the Creator has to say. If they came along and said tomorrow that you have to have needles, vaccinations, go to hospital, have checked, you say, no, I'm going to the Bible, I'm going to read what the Creator says about health, and I'm going to follow his rules on that. And you watch them. They will be dismayed at what you say, and they will hate you fervently because you're going against their law, which is anti-God, and they're aliens, and they are bacteria themselves, and they deserve to be put down like a rabid dog. Welcome to the kingdom.